The warm June evening air carried the faint scent of blooming lilacs from my parents' suburban backyard in Littleton, just outside Denver. I sat alone on the stone patio steps, cradling a half-empty glass of Chardonnay, trying to catch my breath after another round of polite smiles and subtle digs inside the house. It was our monthly family dinner, always the same ritual. I'd driven the 30 minutes from my modest apartment, brought a homemade lasagna that no one touched much, and listened while my younger sister Ashley recounted her latest influencer triumph. My name is Bella. Well, it was then, and at 33 I had long accepted my role as the quieter, less sparkling older daughter. Ashley, 8 years younger, had always been the sun around which our family orbited. She arrived when I was 5, and from that day, the dynamic shifted permanently. Where I was bookish and shy, preferring quiet afternoons with novels or sketching in my room, Ashley was the whirlwind, organizing backyard plays, charming neighbors with her gap-toothed grin, later dancing ballet solos that brought standing ovations at the community theater. Our parents never hid their pride. My high school honor roll certificates earned a quiet good job, honey, and a framed spot on the hallway wall. Ashley's regional dance competition wins triggered catered parties, professional photos, and endless retellings at every holiday gathering. She just has that spark, my mother Linda would say with a wistful smile, as if it were a law of nature. The unspoken follow-up hung in the air. And you, Bella? Don't. By adulthood, I had carved out a stable existence. Marketing manager at a mid-sized tech firm downtown. Decent 401k. Close circle of friends who actually asked about my day. I still showed up birthdays, Thanksgivings, the obligatory summer barbecues, bringing thoughtful gifts and swallowing the comparisons. Ashley had turned her natural charm into a lifestyle Instagram empire. Ashley Authentic, boasting nearly 300,000 followers who lapped up her perfectly filtered posts about wellness routines, capsule wardrobes, and living your truth. 2 years earlier, she met Chad Donovan, the polished investment banker with the square jaw and perpetual 5 o'clock shadow that somehow always looked intentional. They got engaged fast. Suddenly, every family conversation revolved around wedding venues, honeymoon destinations, and how Chad's family connections would open doors. My parents beamed. Chad barely registered my presence beyond a curt nod. That particular June night, I had stepped outside to escape the noise. The sliding door was cracked open. My mother's voice drifted through clearly, edged with the conspiratorial tone she used when discussing sensitive matters. Robert. We simply can't tell her about the trip. She just wouldn't fit in with the others. It would be awkward for everyone. My father's reply was lower, hesitant. Linda. I don't know. It feels wrong to. She cut him off. Ashley and Chad have been planning this for months. Chad's family is coming, important people. Bella's intensity. Her awkwardness, she'd ruin the vibe. We told her money was tight. Remember? Stick to that story. The wine glass froze halfway to my lips. The summer breeze turned icy against my skin. In that single moment, the years of polite neglect crystallized into something sharper, deliberate exclusion. Not about finances. About me. I was the problem they needed to manage. I sat motionless as the conversation continued inside. Laughter. Clinking glasses. Plans for the exclusive Willowbrook estate in the mountains. Private chef. Celebrity photographer. My chest tightened with a slow-building ache that would soon harden into resolve. That overheard fragment didn't just hurt. It liberated something I hadn't known was caged. The rest of the evening passed in a haze. I made my excuses early, drove home on autopilot, and lay awake replaying every slight I had normalized. The $8,000 honeymoon check for Ashley while I got a clearance scarf, the rescheduled lunch during her minor health scare while they skipped my hospitalization for pneumonia, the garden party for her college graduation versus my quiet Olive Garden dinner. By morning the fog had lifted, replaced by a cold clarity. I was done waiting to be chosen. But to truly break free, I needed to confront the version of myself I had hidden even from them, the version that had quietly built real success while playing the role of the reliable, unremarkable older sister. 3 years earlier, after yet another promotion passed me over despite landing major clients, my boss Vivian had pulled me aside. "You're brilliant, Bella, but you let others claim the spotlight. Stop shrinking." Those words echoed my family pattern perfectly. That weekend, I registered Morgan Media Marketing as a side hustle. Small freelance gigs at first, local boutiques, startups needing sharp digital strategies. I worked nights and weekends, honing proprietary analytics tools that delivered measurable ROI. Within 18 months, I quit the day job quietly, hired 2 assistants, kept the corporate title on paper for family appearances. By the night of that patio revelation, Morgan Media had 18 employees across Denver and Phoenix offices, blue-chip clients, licensing revenue for my software platform, and a personal net worth north of $2 million, real estate, investments, business equity. No one knew. I had kept it secret partly for privacy, partly from that lingering hope they might one day ask, really ask, about my life. Now that hope felt foolish, I opened my laptop and researched name change procedures, asset protection, moving my accounts. The anger that had bloomed on the patio sharpened into purpose. I documented everything, screenshots of canceled plans, voice notes capturing tone shifts, financial disparities. I consulted a family law attorney who confirmed my separation was clean. The weeks that followed were a careful dance of distance. I muted group chats buzzing with Willowbrook excitement, declined dinners with vague work excuses. Ashley posted glamorous previews of the estate. My mother sent one perfunctory, "Everything okay?" text. I replied minimally. Inside, I prepared for the final act. Autumn arrived crisp and golden in Denver. October 3rd, the night of Ashley and Chad's engagement party at the Belmont Plaza Ballroom, felt like destiny. I stood before the full-length mirror in my downtown luxury condo, the one my family had never visited. The woman staring back was transformed. Deep emerald silk hugged my figure, the color chosen deliberately to echo eyes I had once downplayed. My hair fell in soft waves instead of the usual practical ponytail. Diamond studs, purchased after closing my largest client, caught the light. For years, I had muted my appearance around them, unconsciously avoiding any shadow on Ashley's spotlight. Tonight, I wanted to be impossible to ignore. Emma, my cousin from Seattle, had texted earlier. "You sure about this?" I had confided the broad strokes of my plan. Her support was the only familial warmth I still trusted. "Absolutely," I replied. "See you there." The Uber ride across town gave me space to breathe. My mind replayed the patio conversation on loop, but now the pain had crystallized into steel. I arrived as the party hummed at full swing, crystal chandeliers, thousands of white roses, string quartet beneath the chatter. Ashley shimmered in white, practically bridal, surrounded by admirers. Chad looked the part of the perfect groom. My parents stood nearby, my mother in a designer gown she had bragged about online, my father making stiff conversation with Chad's parents. No one noticed my entrance at first. I ordered champagne at the bar, sipping slowly, watching. The event coordinator I had prepped earlier gave me a discreet nod. Everything was arranged. 20 minutes until the formal toasts. I caught Emma's eye across the room. She raised her glass in solidarity. My pulse steadied. When my father clinked his spoon against crystal and launched into a glowing speech about Ashley's perfection and Chad being the son I never had, the room toasted warmly. I set my glass down untouched and signaled the coordinator. Lights dimmed. The slideshow screen that had been cycling curated couple photos went dark. A ripple of confusion spread. Then my recorded voice filled the ballroom. Calm and measured, the Morgan family has always valued appearances above truth. The first slide appeared, a Christmas photo from the year before. My parents and Ashley beamed front and center. I stood slightly apart, smile not reaching my eyes. But appearances deceive, my voice continued. The sequence unfolded methodically. Screenshots of my mother canceling our lunch followed immediately by her Instagram post shopping with Ashley the same day. My father's curt email dismissing my career concerns next to his LinkedIn praise of Chad's promotion. Financial records showing Ashley's lavish birthday networking event versus my token clearance gifts. Gasps rippled through the crowd. I stepped forward into the center, heels echoing on marble. For years I believed I was the problem, that I wasn't charming enough, special enough to deserve love and attention. Slides illustrated the pattern. Ashley centered in every family portrait, me cropped or ignored. But my family never bothered to look deeper. The screen shifted to Morgan Media Marketing's professional site, client logos, details blurred for legal reasons, revenue charts, testimonials, and finally a redacted bank statement reflecting my true net worth. The daughter they dismissed as awkward now leads a company employing 18 people. The daughter they couldn't afford on vacation is financially worth more than the rest of the family combined. The silence was absolute, broken only by shocked whispers. Ashley pushed through the crowd, face twisted between fury and disbelief. "What the hell are you doing? This is my night." I met her gaze steadily. "It's always been your night, Ashley." I'm finally claiming space for myself. My mother appeared beside her, pale with rage. "How dare you humiliate us like this, airing private matters?" I smiled thinly. "You weren't concerned about my humiliation when you excluded me from the trip, calling me awkward and unfit. When you said I wouldn't fit in with the others." My father approached, thunderous. "Bella, this is inappropriate. We're leaving now to discuss this privately." "No," I said simply. "I'm not going anywhere with you. Not tonight. Not ever again." The confrontation escalated in heated whispers and accusations. But I held my ground, voice unwavering. Emma moved to stand beside me, a quiet anchor. Relatives watched with mixtures of shock, discomfort, and, surprisingly, some glimmers of respect. "I came tonight to say goodbye," I addressed the room. "I'm legally changing my name, moving my business to Seattle, starting over without the weight of being the family disappointment." My mother's voice trembled with fury or pain. I couldn't tell which. "If you walk out that door, you're no longer part of this family." I looked at her one last time, the woman whose words had shaped so much of my self-doubt. "I stopped being part of this family a long time ago. The difference is I'm choosing to walk away instead of being pushed aside." With Emma at my side, I turned and left the ballroom, the rising murmurs following us like a wave. The cool October night air hit my face as we stepped into the lobby. My knees felt momentarily weak from the adrenaline crash, but Emma's hand on my arm steadied me. "You okay?" she asked softly. "I don't know yet," I admitted, "but I will be." Outside, my actual car waited, an Audi I had kept hidden from family view. The valet held the door. Emma hugged me tightly. "You were incredible in there. Proud of you. I'll keep in touch with you, the only one who ever really saw me," I promised. Driving away from the Belmont Plaza, I caught a final glimpse of my parents and Ashley silhouetted in the entrance, watching me disappear into the night. A fleeting pang of something, regret, nostalgia, twisted in my chest, but I accelerated forward. The immediate aftermath arrived faster and messier than expected. Within hours, blurry cell phone clips of the confrontation circulated on social media. Denver locals and Ashley's followers debated fiercely under the trending hashtag #VisibleDaughter. Some defended Ashley's perfect image. Others expressed unexpected sympathy for the overlooked sister. My parents launched damage control, telling relatives and acquaintances I had always been troubled, jealous, and possibly unstable, claiming my success claims were exaggerated lies. This backfired when a prominent tech entrepreneur client of mine publicly confirmed every detail, praising Morgan Media's real achievements and impressive roster. The narrative flipped. 3 days later, a cease and desist letter arrived from their attorney demanding I retract defamatory statements. My own lawyer, Barbara Whitfield, responded with documented evidence, screenshots, emails, recordings, proving every claim accurate. The threats dissolved quickly. Ashley lost nearly 100,000 followers in the following week. Sponsorship deals evaporated quietly. Her authentic family values brand took a severe hit. My father faced awkward questions at his country club. My mother went silent on social media for months. They briefly separated before reconciling. He took early retirement. She began volunteering at a youth center, perhaps seeking redemption, mentoring girls who reminded her of the daughter she had overlooked. Chad and Ashley postponed their wedding indefinitely. Meanwhile, I followed through. The name change petition to Bella Winters, my maternal grandmother's maiden name, honoring the one relative who had offered unconditional love, processed smoothly. I relocated operations to Seattle, where Emma and her husband welcomed me warmly. Purchased a house overlooking Puget Sound. Spent weekends hiking, exploring bookstores, breathing freely for the first time in years. Winters Media Group, rebranded, expanded rapidly in the new location. I hired additional staff, broadened service offerings, and finally embraced the CEO role openly, no more hiding behind a modest job title. 6 months after the party, an unexpected email arrived from Ashley. I don't know if you'll read this, but I've been thinking about what you said about waiting to be seen. I never realized how it felt for you. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Just wanted you to know I see you now. Too late. I know. I read it twice. Then closed the tab without replying. Some wounds run deeper than words can mend. Life in Seattle unfolded in quiet, deliberate layers. The house I chose had floor-to-ceiling windows framing the water, letting in soft gray light that matched my reflective mood those first months. Mornings I walked along the shore with coffee, watching ferries cut through the sound, feeling the weight of old expectations lift like morning fog. Friends here knew me as Bella Winters, successful entrepreneur, thoughtful listener, someone who laughed easily and asked genuine questions. No one compared me to a more sparkling sibling. Dating felt tentative at first. I moved slowly, learning to trust that people could value me without hidden scorekeeping. Emma visited often. Our relationship deepened into chosen family, brunches, movie nights, honest conversations about boundaries and healing. She admitted she had seen the favoritism but hadn't known how to intervene earlier. We rebuilt something healthier than blood obligation. Work flourished. The proprietary analytics platform attracted new licensing deals. We landed contracts with Pacific Northwest brands seeking authentic digital strategies. I stepped onto stages at industry conferences, sharing insights without shrinking. Each public success reinforced the truth. I was enough exactly as I was. Yet echoes lingered. Late nights. The patio memory sometimes resurfaced. My mother's dismissive tone. Ashley's satisfied smirk. The ache would return, reminding me how deeply conditional love had scarred me. Therapy helped reframe those moments. The exclusion wasn't my failing. It was their limitation. My parents never reached out directly. Through the family grapevine, I learned they had sold the suburban home and downsized. Perhaps the scandal forced introspection. Or perhaps not. I chose not to dwell. One spring afternoon, standing on my deck watching sailboats, I realized the victory wasn't the money, the confrontation, or Even the name change. It was the internal shift, no longer defining myself by their gaze. The invisible daughter had become visible, to herself most of all. Occasionally, I wondered what might have happened if they had chosen differently that June evening, if inclusion had been the default rather than exclusion. Would I have revealed my success gradually, celebrated together? Or would the pattern have persisted regardless? Those questions linger, without easy answers. A quiet moral undercurrent. Family bonds are complicated. Blood promises unconditional love, but often delivers conditions. When recognition fails, self-recognition becomes the only path to freedom. I still send Emma birthday gifts and host her visits. I date men who see me fully. I run a thriving company that values every team member's contribution. And on clear nights when the stars pierce the city glow, I feel a profound peace. The girl who froze on that patio with a wine glass suspended in shock has grown into a woman who chooses her own light. Months turned into a year. Spring in Seattle brought vibrant tulips and longer days that mirrored my expanding sense of possibility. One weekend I hosted a small gathering, new colleagues, Emma's family, a few close friends. Laughter filled the house overlooking the water. No one asked why I never spoke of my Denver relatives. They simply knew me as I presented myself. Capable, warm, accomplished. In quiet moments, I reflected on the broader message my journey carried. How many people silently endure being the other in their own families, overlooked, managed, diminished, because blood supposedly demands loyalty? How many hide their light waiting for validation that never arrives? My story wasn't unique, but the choice to stop waiting was mine. Changing my name wasn't running away, it was claiming authorship of my identity. Moving cities wasn't escape, it was planting new roots in fertile soil. Ashley's email remained unanswered. A closed chapter. Chad eventually moved on. Rumors suggested they parted ways. My parents' lives continued in quieter registers. I wished them well from a distance. Without bitterness. Forgiveness for my own peace. Not theirs. Business milestones accumulated. Another office expansion. Speaking engagements. Mentoring young women entrepreneurs who reminded me of my younger self. Each time I encouraged them to advocate loudly. Document their worth. Refuse to shrink. Evenings I sometimes sat with a glass of wine. Now on my own deck. Not a contested patio. And let gratitude settle. For the overheard truth that forced awakening. For the secret success that had been my quiet armor. For the courage to speak it aloud. The moral question lingers for anyone listening. What do we owe family when love feels conditional? When recognition is withheld? Is walking away selfishness or self-preservation? My answer, hard one, is that protecting your own light isn't betrayal, it's necessity. Blood ties don't guarantee sight. Chosen family often sees clearest. As I watch the sun set over Puget Sound, painting the water gold, I feel the girl from the patio finally at rest. The invisible daughter no longer exists. In her place stands Bella Winters, seen, valued, free. And that, ultimately, is the only victory that truly matters.